it mixes things up where you could have thought something was gonna work out one way and it worked out a different way. Or there's always surprises. Even when you're a sensitive, intuitive person and you're paying attention to these transits, we're not immune to the energy. Hey y'all, welcome to Meryl's Mystic. I'm Meryl, and I empower witches, bitches, and dudes to complete themselves so that they can have more fulfilling soulmate relationships and more purpose-filled lives. I am an eclectic witch, and I am also a intuitive psychic medium tarot reader. I enjoy tarot because I enjoy the story that it allows us to tell. I also like to connect with our natural cycles, and I connect a lot of what we're doing to Western astrology. And today we are going to pick a pile for Taurus season. A little bit about Taurus season. According to Western astrology, Taurus season is from April 20th to May 20th, which makes our Taurus our fixed earth sign because it is in the middle of the season of the weather season. It's the middle of spring or the middle of fall in the southern hemisphere. All of our fixed signs are in the middle of our weather seasons. Taurus is represented by the bull. It is ruled by Venus, and that means that some of the cards associated with Taurus are the Hierophant, that is the Taurus card, and the Empress, which represents Venus. The Hierophant is all about structure and systems, and the Empress is all about self-love. So that kind of gives you an idea of what Taurus is. Taurus is very grounded, but they are also known for being very sensual. They like their regular, they like routine. They like things to kind of be the same, but they also like to indulge in things that are luxurious for them. Taurus is also associated with the heart chakra, and we'll talk about that a little bit more when we get into the piles. A couple highlights for Taurus season. I'm recording this on the 19th, the day before Taurus season starts. I try to do these earlier, but I have a hard time putting my energy too far into the future. I'm really liking practicing being in the present, So this is the evening of the second new moon in Aries, which is also a solar eclipse, which kicks off eclipse season, which is taking place in Taurus season. And then the day after Taurus season begins, on the 21st, is when Mercury goes retrograde. You might have been feeling the retrograde symptoms already because this pre-shadow has been pretty strong. Also, partnering with the eclipse, it's a lot of stirring chaotic energy. So if you already feel like things aren't going right, or you just can't seem to focus, just kind of try to lean into it. Try not to fight it. This is a good time to connect to your tools and your practices the best that you can. I know that things happen, and sometimes the anxiety is too high that you can't even focus on the guided meditation. So, move your body when that happens. Just do anything to kind of move the energy without focusing too hard on it, getting down too much on yourself for, not being okay or doing things right. This is not the time for that. So then we have our second eclipse on May 5th, and that is in the full moon in Scorpio. And then we will round out and then Mercury will go direct on the 14th of May, and then that post shadow goes until the end of May. And then we will be, that's interesting. I put the new moon in Taurus on the 9th. I thought for some reason it was near the end of the season. Let me look at my calendar. What am I thinking of? New moon. Oh, I did write 9th. It's the 19th. It is near the end of the season. have ADHD and wasn't paying attention. So the new moon in Taurus is May 19th, which is near the end of Taurus season. And I think that's it. I will be posting, little tidbits about all this energy. I try to make it very accessible for everybody. Just easy little information about the energy, and then how it's going to affect you, or how it could possibly affect you, and what you can possibly do to lean into the energy and to allow it to work for you instead of against you. So please make sure you subscribe to my channel, to check me out on Instagram, and I am on Facebook, and you can also join my mailing list. Those links are below. I am at Meryl's Mystic on pretty much any platform. I'm on most platforms. I'm mostly only active on Instagram and Facebook for political and personal reasons that I'm not going to get into right now. But that's how you can find me. Usually people are on one or the other. And if you don't like social media at all, join my mailing list and you get most of everything that, you get all the magical stuff. I've been making small spreads for the full moon, the new moon. I will be doing a spread for the Hierophant card, the seasonal card. So please, I really want to empower you to trust your own intuition and to, take the reins of your own magic and intuition and power. And I'm trying to help you do that just in little ways here and there, because I also find that me being connected with the seasons also, and knowing what the moon is doing, helps me navigate my emotions, my spiritual world, and my physical world. And I want to help you do that as well. So since we are doing general readings, I just like to preface that all the messages might not land with you. That's okay. Again, use your intuition, whatever sticks with you, whichever resonates with you. Take it and mull it around and see how you feel. These are technically for entertainment purposes. And whatever doesn't land, just leave it there. It's probably for somebody else. Even in my personal readings, if you want to, if there's one thing I say that just doesn't resonate with you, it's okay. You don't have to you don't have to listen to 100% of what anybody is saying. I think that's how we get in trouble, is when we put all of our faith into one person or one thing or one organization. It's good to have some healthy skepticism in everything, okay? Cool. So let's talk about our piles. So pile number 1 is the rose quartz. I like to pair my piles. Now I'm going to tongue twist myself. I like to pair my piles with crystals, because then I feel like it helps you also get a feeling for them and tap into your intuition. Now, all the crystals I picked, which I don't know if I did this for Aries season. I think I just picked them intuitively with what I had laying around. I have a lot of stones. I had to go looking for some. All of them are associated with Taurus season, with the sign of Taurus. So, Taurus season, it's how this energy is going to, affect you or interact with you. The first 2 stones are associated with your heart chakra, because Taurus is associated with the heart chakra also. And the heart chakra colors are green and pink. So we have rose quartz and malachite. The rose quartz is the stone of love. That is the stone that I would want instead of like a diamond for a wedding or engagement, because that is the true stone of love. It's the stone of universal and unconditional love, and it supports your emotional and relationship healing. It is very calming, and it can bring you a certain level of comfort. So the malachite, I should show you the little rose quartz. You can see in the picture, I'll be posting the pictures, and you should also be seeing video, wherever it is, of me pre-shuffling beforehand. It's just easier that way. I promise I did not look at them. I did not read them. I was even, if you see me, I'm trying to even like not make sure I can't even see the bottom of the deck when I'm shuffling because I'm looking at the camera. So I did everything I could. Don't come for me. Okay, so the Malachite, for me, Malachite's always had like a spiritual connection. It was funny because I write down what I know about these stones and then I do Google. So there will be the resources attached of where I found some of this information. There's so many resources on Google, y'all. Like, you can literally Google so many metaphysical and magical things now and figure out what lands with you. Seriously, go. I always tell people, like, just freaking Google it and find out what, you know, what lands with you. That's what it's about. It's all about your own personal intention. So the Malachite, I've always felt like has a spiritual connection of connecting heaven and earth. It is the essence of joy and the stone of transformation. It does support change. It can ease personal growth by revealing and then helping heal the pain, revealing and healing emotional pain. And it's also said to protect from physical pain. And then, so speaking of protection, we are moving on to our, didn't show you a little Malachite, a little triangle. And that's like a naturally, it wasn't purposely shaped like a triangle. That's how it kind of ended up after being polished and tumbled. So then we have the last third pile is our tiger's eye heart. Now the tiger's eye is actually associated with the solar plexus. So I love that I had a heart version of this because it still ties into our heart chakra and our Taurus energy. And the tiger's eye for me has been a protection stone. It's very grounding, and it's also good at like empowering you with your own personal strength and power. The heart shape brings it a extra level of comfort and self-nurturing. And you know me, I'm all about the self-love. So the readings could, I'm hoping, relate to the each energy. I think they kind of did last time. Also, it's not up to me always what comes up. There is like an element of love and care in all of these. This one's a little bit more all about the love. This one's a little bit more about transformation. So if things are changing for you, that's a good thing. And then this one's a little bit more about self-empowerment. And it can also bring you insight and decisive action into any questions you may have. So if you're maybe feeling very confused about things right now, if you need some love, you need some change, you need some empowerment. So let's hope that that's kind of where we're going. Cool. I was trying not to go too long, but we will see. Everything should be down below. Things will be time stamped and all that jazz. So first, take a deep breath in your nose, out your mouth, in your nose, blow it all out. One more in your nose, side out. I need to remember to do that too after I do all the talking, so then we are grounding back where we are with what we are doing. And we're gonna start with our rose quartz. Oop, I meant to mention, hopefully you're still listening even if you didn't pick rose quartz. My focus was to have, also the decks we're using are the Modern Witch Tarot by Lisa Sturl, the Borderless Smith Waite traditional tarot deck, and the Shaman's Dream deck by Alberto Villoldo and Colette Baron Reed, I think. And Alberto Villoldo and Colette Baron Reed are also very cool, so check them out. And Lisa Sturl, I'll have, again, everything will be linked. My goal was 3 Modern Witch, 2 like kind of clarifier ish traditional tarot, and 1 oracle card. But again, I don't make the rules, so there's 4 oracle cards for the rose quartz, 2 oracle cards for the malachite, and 3 oracle cards for the tiger's eye. I'm back. So I, as you saw, got interrupted, but for good reason. Unfortunately, my mom had to come in inform me that my uncle, my dad's brother, had untimely, unfortunately, but unexpectedly passed away. He was having some health problems, but it was still unexpected. And so I had to take about a week to get back to here. I was glad that I stopped kind of at the right time that we didn't even get into the readings yet, so that was good. So yeah, I just had to recollect myself because my dad's in spirit, and so this is one of my first like aunts or uncles to pass away too. So I'm back. Sorry about that. And it's such a different setting today. We woke up in Colorado to sunshine, and it's been raining for about an hour or so now in the late evening or late afternoon, early evening. And so we're a little cozier today. It was too cold for my fun jacket, so that will be back again soon. And full disclosure, I kept the piles set to the side as best I could until today, when I was moving something and didn't see that it was like moving what the thing was on. You know, you move one thing and you don't even see that it pushes the other thing. So that's what happened. So I had to intuitively put them back together. I could have reshuffled, but then I got quiet and went with my gut feeling, went with my intuition, felt that I was being asked, pushed, urged to keep it how it is, to the best that I could, back to, the numbers of the cards and the way they laid. I turned them over, collected them as best I could. But I felt like, too, this whole thing is such a Mercury in retrograde situation that we're just going to go with it, because Mercury retrogrades kind of any planetary retrograde really stirs things up. Mercury, we feel more because it's one of the closest planets to Earth. And so it throws you loops. It just like throws wrenches in your system. It can throw you off track. It also, and it's not to mess you up. And I think it took me a while to figure this out, because it's just like, oh, things are going to mess up, Mercury retrograde. But it's for a purpose, and especially this one in Taurus, it's really to slow you down. Check out my Instagram post about it. But already, like, it's slowing you down. It's slowing me down, I know, so that we're more purposeful with our movements, and we're more mindful with what we're doing, with what we're working on. And also just like it mixes things up where you could have thought something was gonna work out one way and it worked out a different way, or there's always surprises, even when you're a sensitive, intuitive person and you're paying attention to these transits. We're not immune to the energy. It's just being aware of them can help you navigate how that energy manifests in your physical world. Okay, so we're gonna see how it goes, and I'm kind of excited because it's like, let's just roll the dice, see what's going on. So thank you for your patience, and we will start with pile 1. Okay. it's our rose quartz, so we were, putting a little love energy into this. So we'll see how this goes. We'll start first with our modern witch cards right off the top. Ooh, already we're starting with the love. Ace of Cups. Let's see if my camera will. There it goes. Ace of Cups. And these will be up on the screen as well. Ooh, the Empress. More love here. I'm liking it. Already, because of the combination with the rose quartz. And we're filling our cup, and the Empress is all about like self-care and putting yourself on a throne. I heard unconditional love, or unconditional. For some reason I thought I said inconditional. That's not right. Which we've already said is part of this rose quartz energy, but this is like unconditional love of self. Okay? And because I think we don't all, as humans, we don't always treat ourselves the way as good as we treat others, or treat others, people that we love. Mothers are known to give unconditional love to their children before they give it to themselves. And then I think sometimes we can get lost in the give and take of the energy, and and then if we're not unconditionally giving to ourselves, then we can't unconditionally give to others. We're putting conditions on ourselves, we're putting conditions on others, even if you don't realize that you're doing that. And the last card is the Page of Cups. So, curiosity. I heard a good explanation of this card the other day. It was curiosity. Oh, surprises, which I liked, and it really made me think of the fish. There's a little fish coming out of her cup, like surprise. And so and the Empress here is flanked by, as you can see, by the Ace of Cups and the Page of Cups, two like kind of starting points in the minor arcana. The Ace is the beginning of the numbers, and then the Page is the beginning of the court cards. So, and with it flanking the Empress, and I like I love how when the color themes go together, not just because they're cups, they go together, but just even, there are other cup cards that don't have this exact same color match of the Ace and the Page, and I'm sure that was done intentionally. So we're also like, what I'm getting from the Page of Cups too is this. It's unapologetic, but it's like in a whimsical way of being yourself, of embodying who you are, and of getting back in touch with who you wanted to be. And it's not even like who you wanted to be as a kid. And I've talked about this before in the past. Which is good. It's good to know what you want to be as a kid, but I feel like it's really important that there's different phases of our inner child that we communicate with and talk to and heal, and looking at different ages and what's going on around us. Things can be very different at different ages. And so this is really like your like preteen, early teenage years, like 12 to 14, I want to say, maybe 12 to 15. Get some tea. That who did you want to be then? Like who, I reached a moment in life, they want me to share this with you, where I realized that like my 13-year-old self would think I was pretty freaking cool. And even with like the flaws and things that I'm not comfortable with myself always, I think, we're in this era where we're really figuring out how to be comfortable in our skin and our bodies, no matter what people say, no matter what society says. But there are things that I've done now that I think my 13-year-old self was like, man, that'd be really cool, but that's probably not going to happen. This being one of those things, where I was like secretly reading the like teen witch books, like really getting into this before it was cool, where if I told anybody is like, really, like you think you're a witch, you know? So the fact that I'm doing this proudly, my younger self who was reading those books would be so fucking stoked. So stoked. And that makes me stoked for where I am and how far I've come, you know, despite how we focus on any negative self-talk sort of thing. I feel like we're in this place in society and us being on the internet and on social media where we're really having to look at these things and look how we've developed our view of ourselves and developed who we are and how we exist in this world. And so there's definitely this emphasis on making sure that you are making yourself proud. And sometimes it's hard to make your current self proud. So like, would your younger self be proud of you, you know? Would somebody else from your past be proud of you now? Like, I realized at the gym the other day that I feel like my gym teachers would be pretty proud that I can do an hour 20-minute like a 20-minute mile on the elliptical, you know, like, I mean, it's elliptical, so it's a little it's not like running, but it's easier on your body. But I could barely do the mile in high school, even though I was in good shape. They would pass me because I was on the dance team. So, hey guys, like, I'm still, I may not always look it, but I'm still like keeping the endurance up and doing more than I thought I would or could at this age, you know, from a younger standpoint. So yeah, that's filling your cup, taking care of yourself, embodying younger versions of yourself. And I feel like a lot of people are doing that now too. Like, those of us who grew up in the 90s are kind of, some of us are kind of excited that some of these 90s styles are coming back. The early 2000s, not so much. They're definitely looking cuter than they were. But some of us are, you know, now that there's less rules with fashion, it's like, dress how you freaking want. You know, there's some like 90s fashion that I was probably too scared to wear when I was younger, and I'm glad that it's back now because I'm totally gonna rock it. Stuff like that. It seems it's like this connection of the material and the physical with the emotional. And I'm not saying like, go out and buy yourself a whole new wardrobe. Not like that. It's realizing how you can do certain things for yourself in the physical that impact you emotionally. Doing things too, I just heard, just for yourself. Just for yourself. Okay? Not including anybody. There's very much this like needing to prioritize you, where you're at, self-care. This is a great time for that. It's taking advantage of those moments. When you're scheduling things on your calendar, make sure when you put something down, you're looking not only at the day of, but like the days around it or the week around it, and making sure that you're setting time aside for nothing. You know, making sure that you're blocking parts of your schedule out to remember to not schedule something every day. Okay? And using those moments, and you don't have to plan anything at that moment, just having the time, so then when you get there, you can use the time however you need or want. You know, sometimes we just need to catch up, and that does a lot for our emotional and mental well-being. Cool. Let's see what these clarifiers are in the traditional deck. First, 10 of Pentacles. There it goes. And, the King of Pentacles in reverse. Interesting. So, these cards are all about, like, building wealth also. It's very interesting that you're getting, like, here's where the physical turns out. So these things are all about building wealth. So a couple things came up. First of all, it takes a lot longer than you think it does. Budgeting, saving, investing, there's a lot of patience. It's kind of like chess. There's a lot of moves that need to be made, but then there's a lot of things that just have to be sat on, and you just have to wait for things to bloom later on, or what's the word I'm looking for? Show your gains later on. I think that's one of the things that we don't always talk about when we talk about money management, and when people have to learn. We really had to get down on our budget this last couple years, but you can do the budget, but you have to recognize that it's not just going to be oh, we did a budget for a couple weeks and everything's great. It's, not even sometimes a couple months. It could take longer for things, and then life happens. And then it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps. But there's and just like you can't force plants to grow, you can't force your investments, however you invest in yourself, to turn to be profitable too quickly before they're ready to. Okay. With the King of Pentacles in reverse too, I feel like there's a notice, I don't want to say warning, but a hi, just let's pay attention to this thing over here. Saving and budgeting and keeping an eye on things is great. It's a great thing to do. What you want to make sure you don't do is that you are doing it so much and putting so many boundaries on yourself that you forget to live your life. Okay? Have you ever heard of somebody like that before? I feel like I've talked about this before. It's been a little while since this theme's come up, where you hear about those people who, they save. There's a book called The Millionaire Next Door, and it's about living below your means, which is beneficial. It is. But don't just lock your money away and then not enjoy it at all. I've heard stories before where, somebody passes away and they had money saved up, and, their things were taken care of, which is great. There was inheritance to give away, but that person didn't do anything with their life. They sat in their little house. You didn't even know that they had this kind of money laying around, which, you hear about that a lot, but at the same time, you didn't live a life. And then that's where regret can come in. Okay. So it's trust the process. It's going to take longer than you think it is. So going to do that thing that you really want to do. And it's not just you don't have to just go do anything, but if there's something you really want to go do and you can technically afford to do it, or you technically have the money at the time, are you going to regret not doing it, or are you going to regret spending the money and doing it more than regretting not doing it and saving that little bit of money that probably would have caught up in months to a year down the road, and it would have been fine, and you wouldn't even think about that time again. You know what I mean? I think when we're having financial issues and things come up that concerts, vacations, even weddings, if you have to go somewhere for a night, it can feel oh, it's so irresponsible for me to take this night off and not go to work because we need the money, and we need, that's the most important thing right now. And it's yeah, but it would be worse if you missed this really important thing with the people that you love just because you were worried about the money. Because in a year from now, you're not even going to be thinking about the money. It's going to be, were you there with everybody? or did you choose to work instead? Does that make sense? The camping trip, the family, and that's what it's really about. It's about those things that, realize that you're already not doing that much because your focus is to save and to build this wealth, this security, this foundation, so that you're taking care of, your family's taken care of, but also you don't want to just say no to every experience, because that's what people remember. That's what we connect to each other, are the experiences with each other and the adventures and the fun and the joy. So do not say no to joy and connection and experiences with the people you love just to save $1. Okay? This doesn't also, I'm not trying to I don't want you to think oh, well, I'll just fucking spend the money and whatever. Don't be smart about it. Don't go into debt. Don't open a new credit card, anything like that. But I truly believe, I think if you wanted to make it happen, you probably could. Okay? Yeah. It just feels like whomever this is for, the guides are really do not say no to your life to save money. Money is not the point of us being here. Yes, it's a big part of it. It's how we, have to exchange goods and services as a society. But as people with souls, as divine beings having an earthly experience, money is not the point. Life is the point. It's you could build this wealth up later, but then what if your kids are yeah, but we didn't do anything fun, I don't even have a relationship with, I don't know why I keep seeing a man with my dad, because he kept saying no to things yeah, I have this inheritance, but I would have rather him take us on a camping trip or go to a baseball game, things like this. Okay, do not say no to your life just to save money. Okay, now we're getting into the oracle cards, which there's a lot everywhere. So this is the Shaman's Dream Oracle. Oh, upside down because I dropped them. Okay, first we have, closing door, a completion. Interesting. The Sky Bridge, possibility for union. See, possibilities for comings together. Closing door, completion. Maybe it's almost like the completion of some of these mindsets that you have, not putting yourself first, not putting your life first. It's very interesting that I wanted these to be clarifiers, and I got a whole different kind of message from these guys than these. But it's all about care. It's all about self-care and the exchange of our physical, of emotional, energy exchange within our world. Then we have Lay of the Land, Ancestral Wisdom. All right. And Overflow, Overwhelm, and Plenty. So, I'm very curious about this Ancestral Wisdom, because with this Ten of Pentacles here, that is, that can definitely speak to our ancestors and speak to the fact that we are ancestors in the making now. So what are your ancestors bringing you? And then Overflow, Overwhelm, and Plenty. Again, trust that money goes in, money comes out. So it's always on its way. Money is always on its way. It's literally written on my fridge. Money is always on its way. So that's why you can't, choosing to save money over experiencing your life is not going to be the payoff that you expect it to be. Okay. Okay, let's hit the books. Closing door. Endings, completions, your greater calling. When the closing door shows up, it's a call to recognize an ending. To terminate a relationship, job, task, or situation that has been dragging on far too long. This is more prioritizing yourself. If there's something that is really getting in the way of you loving yourself, caring for yourself, prioritizing yourself, living your life, whether it be, a job, a relationship, a mindset, a habit, it is time to recognize those things and let that go. This is a great time to do that, great energy right now to be releasing these things. And because if you don't take the time to recognize them and release them purposely yourself, the universe will come and do that for you, and it's not always as fun, okay? Unlock the cage you have been trapped in and shut the door behind you. This is not the time to worry about what others might think or feel. Did I say that earlier? Instead, break with routine, consider what you think and how you feel, and be true to your heart's calling. Hello, first messages, cups. It's time to walk out the door. If you do not see a door but only a solid wall in front of you, ask for assistance. Muster the courage to say no more. Remember as well that no one else needs to be wrong in order for you to do what you've known you needed to do for a long time. If the door to a project or a relationship has been closed to you, stop knocking on it, which is what I said about this energy right now too. Things might not work out. Let them not work out. Let them make space. Let it make space in your life for what will work out. You have tried that already and no one answered. At least not in the way you would have liked. Take this as a gift, difficult and painful as it might be. Move on. Every door that shuts is an invitation to find another way, another path to your destination. Better to recognize this earlier rather than later. How many of us leave a relationship or job years after we knew it was time to move on? Stop wallowing in the pain and lingering on the reasons why things did not work. It is keeping you from your greater calling. Bow deeply before the closed door, give thanks to the lessons, and set yourself free. And this is a big lesson we've been learning for a while, especially in this society that's like, just pick yourself up by your bootstraps and just keep on going. And coming from generations of ancestors, folks, people who were raised in this society that just had different values. So many times have just changed, and you don't have to stay at the same. You can't really stay at the same job for 30 years anymore. I read the other day why that changed, and it had something to do with Social Security. Anyway, I need to remember what I actually learned. It's just not a possibility anymore. It's not the world we live in, and we've come from this societal mindset that if you quit something, you're a failure. And we've been trying to change that for the last decade. We've been trying to change that mindset that the failures are fine. The failures are great, just as good as the success. Stop trying to stick with something that's not working. You're only causing yourself and others more pain. You're taking up time and space that should be dedicated to something that will actually work. Okay? Okay. Next, Sky Bridge, possibility for union. So even already, things are moving out to make space, and just because there are things waiting just on the edge to take in that space the things that are meant to work for you. Sky Bridge, possibility for union, what needs to be connected or disconnected. You stand before a seemingly unbreachable abyss, and there is no possibility of retreat. The path behind you is no longer a viable option. You have to act soon, though, or you run the risk of being stuck at the edge of the cliff. And this, for some reason, I keep hearing habits. Habits, habits, habits. Habits that are keeping you from moving forward. Habits that are keeping, or the lack of habits. It's like a time to build up the habits that you've been wanting to do. What's your ideal morning routine? What's your ideal evening routine? Start with that. What are 3 things you want to do in the morning? My 3 things usually are hot lemon water. I'm trying to put shakes back in my diet, back in morning, because my body really loves them. And like meditation or yoga or some sort of stretching. And that doesn't always happen. And these are the things that like make me feel good. And it's very human. So that's what I heard while reading that, was like, it's a good time that me talking about the physical things that have the emotional and mental result. These sort of things. What do you want to do before bed? Meditate, journal, read. I love to read before bed. Have some nice like tea, little bedtime tea. Things like that. Little they seem small, but they have big impact. Life has brought you to this moment to offer you as yet undreamt of possibilities. But you must no longer postpone what you know to be inevitable. And yes, you are allowed a breath or two before the leap, so take a bit of time to yourself. Get away for a day or two of contemplation, or even for just a few minutes, walk to clear your head. Muster your courage so that you may cross the sky bridge. And I like how these cards are going together. And like the closing door is number 5, sky bridge is 47. They're very far apart in the deck, but they're definitely working together. And if you look, like, again, their colors are together, kind of go with each other. And there's definitely like this gateway vibe for both of them. You're passing through this thing. They're like, it's time to leave this thing behind and go walk through the gateway, walk through the door. Skybridge appears when the moment is absolutely right for a quantum leap. Life believes you are ready, even if you do not agree. Remember not to confuse your true state of readiness with your plans and preparation. Respond with a determined yes and let the universe take care of the details. There's that trust again. You need only hold on to your positive affirmations, and the way will become obvious as you take flight and clear the abyss. That's another good thing to do in the morning or in the evening. Morning's best. Positive affirmations. You can even write them down on little note cards, put them in your bathroom. You just start reading them until they're true. They don't even feel true. How do you want to feel? But you write them as if they're true. I am love. I am joy. I am peace. I am content with where I'm at. I am really good at prioritizing my self-care. Okay? The other thing I saw when I was reading this last paragraph and thinking about this gateway is the Oracle Gate in the Neverending Story. And aren't there 2 Oracle Gates in that? Let me know. I haven't seen that movie in a while. And how Atreyu, our hero, our main character, has to cross through this gateway without being destroyed. And it's all about like if he's worthy of passing through this gateway. And so I feel like you're very much like Atreyu, and you know that like passing through this is like a big risk. You are not as big a risk as Atreyu. You will not die because of this. But it's feeling like you're gonna be judged somehow, or because transition, it doesn't just affect you, it affects others. But your guides want you to know, like, you're gonna pass the test. You're gonna cross by the oracles I like that. Hey, and they're also called oracles in there. We're talking oracle deck. So you're gonna pass through the gate and you're gonna pass the test. You just have to trust that you're willing, you're ready, you're worthy, and the universe has your back. Okay. All right, two more. Lay of the land, ancestral wisdom. Lay of the land, past lessons. A lot of past things coming up. A lot of past stuff that's they're trying to, and I like this because we're in retrograde. We're looking at the past and seeing how it's still affecting your future and how you can change that for the better. Past lessons, being well informed, ancestral wisdom. There are times when you're meant to discover and explore new terrain in your life, even to be part of a wave of change. So change coming up in these oracle cards. This is one of those times, and what you're contemplating is perhaps new to you, but others have laid well-worth paths and left wisdom for you to rely and reflect on. This is so you have a better understanding of the potentials and possible pitfalls on your journey. When you know the lay of the land, you are better able to fully experience what is being offered to you. This is a wonderful time to seek a mentor. Wonderful time to seek a mentor or good advice from an expert or elder. That way you will be able to meet life's opportunities and challenges well informed. Knowing you have a map, now you can be curious about what else is here. Hey, Page of Cups, curiosity. This is a path that promises success in all areas. It just says, where others before you have dared to tread, you will discover the treasure they may have left behind for you to make your own. I don't have anything else to add to that. And that's just like working right, it's just all meshing together really good. So yeah, when in doubt, seek out counsel, answers. When you don't know what to do, don't do anything. Or time for some self-care. And the last one is 43. So that was 34, and now we're doing 43. Okay. Synchronicities. Overflow. Too much. Overwhelm and plenty. So have you been feeling like this is all too much anyway? Why are you resisting things falling away and letting go when you could probably do for some space on your plate? Okay. It does. It keeps feeling like it's your parents' mindset, your grandparents' mindset, society's mindset that's just like, you got to keep doing this. Why would you quit? You got to keep going. You don't have to keep going, okay? You can quit. You're not a failure. You can let go of some things. This is like this is the guides, this is the universe, this is God, this is the divine, whoever your loved ones in spirit are trying to instill their wisdom on you. Hello, ancestral wisdom, they're in spirit. You can put some things down. Okay? You can clear your plate a little bit. The world is not going to fall apart. I know that they've convinced you that the world is going to fall apart. This is like all those jobs you had that were just hourly part-time jobs, and they just act like the world, like the whole place is going to burn down if you don't show up. And guess what? It never does. If it burned down on you, I want to hear that story, okay? All right. So many good things are headed your way. Hello. Or are already occurring in your life right now. Yet you may be thinking that they're not possible or you're not worthy of them. Hi. Abundance is everyone's natural state before we project our restrictions on it. Society's restrictions, what you were taught as a child, they were not correct. You are a full-formed person now. Make your own choices. Stop living by other people's rules. Defining what it means, abundance, who has it, who gets it, and so forth. That's the restrictions that we put on abundance. Right now, take yourself out of your conditioning. You know what, folks? I love it. I'm still amazed when I say something or I get a message and then it's like confirmed. That's why I like doing oracle cards at the end, because it validates what I'm saying for you too. Okay. Right now, take yourself out of your conditioning and look at your life through the eyes of plenty. There is so much beauty and love, opportunities and divine synchronicities destined to support your dreams abound and are lined up for you. Yet it's sometimes difficult to discern it all because you're bombarded with too much information and stimulation, distracting you from the truth that all is well. Sometimes all this overflow can be overwhelming, and you may find yourself responding with empathy overload. Empathy overload occurs when you tune into the collective angst and fear about impending changes and uncertainties. So much of that happening right now, okay? Turn off the news. All news. Stop watching it. You don't need it, okay? We all know what's going on out there. And trust me, if there's something goes down that you need to learn about, somebody will tell you about it. Or you'll see it on social media, okay? If you're still watching the news, stop right now. I beg you, please. It's not good for your psyche. It is feeding this fear mentality. The news are fear mongers, and it is not setting any of us up for success, okay? That's my little rant for your well-being. Okay. It's unmanageable. You feel like you're drowning in these emotions. It's time to allow yourself to detach, bring yourself back to your life. Perfect timing for Mercury retrograde in Taurus. Restore your faith in a power greater than you, which is any higher power that you're comfortable with and makes you feel loved and accepted. I don't appreciate these shame-based higher powers, but we're not going to get into that either. Ring the bell again. Not getting into that. Okay. Restore your faith in a power greater than you and remind yourself to focus on your smaller personal universe, your hive. And then your hive connects with that hive. We need to almost not cast such wide nets, because then we're like spreading it ourselves out too thin, and then you're not as impactful. Does that make sense? Remind yourself to focus on your smaller personal universe, which is much easier to manage. In this way, you know that you are a conduit for life's blessings and can share them with others, making this perception of overflow profoundly positive. Rose quartz people. So that's it, y'all. Allowing for space to be made, don't say no to your life just to save money. Allow some things to fall away so that the things that are supposed to be coming towards you are coming towards you. Okay? They're making their way towards you. But you have to be open and receptive, and you have to have the space in your life to do that. All right? Awesome. Good things are on its way. Allow this time, this Taurus season, Mercury retrograde in Taurus, to be somewhat of a chrysalis for you. Let things get all mushy and come out the other side a new, better version of yourself. Okay? Allow some things to fall away. Allow new things to surprise you, to fill those spaces. Allow there to be space too, okay? Allow there to be space. You got this. The universe has your back. Your ancestors have your back. Your spirit guides have your back. They're all right there cheering you on. Okay. If you want more, if you want to go deeper on some of these themes, let me know. I would love to connect with you. Yeah. And we're going to move on to the second pile, and I will see you for Gemini season. And I'm actually going to go to the restroom. I'll be back. Okay, we're back. And the cat is in the room now because she's 19 and always wants something. Okay. And her potty's in here. All right, second pile. Let's all take a deep breath together in your nose. And out your mouth. Grounding back in here. We're doing our Malachite pile. The Malachite is a spiritual stone, and it is all about transformation and change. So we'll see if our deck aligns with that. The rose quartz pile was very interesting. It definitely, there was a self-love emphasis, but there was some changes coming for those folks too. So, you know, if these messages don't land, then try one of the other piles. All right. Okay, let's start with our first deck, which is our Modern Witch Tarot. Oh, 5 of Wands. Resistance to change, resistance to things coming together, trying to make things come together, but maybe too many opposing views. This could be even happening in your head where it's like, do I do this? Do I do this? Do I do this? Do I do this? Next up is the 6 of Cups, also in reverse, which is very interesting because in the rose quartz pile, we talked about our inner child. And I brought up that it's not just about, you know, in the six of cups, we see this person presenting something to a child. I always felt like that, especially in this deck, because there are children in the traditional card, but this is about, you know, the nurturing of our children in this life, and also of our inner child. So especially with this coming up in reverse, it just feels like, and what I was saying in the other pile with the rose quartz group was that it's not just about our little kids. You know, like there's a little kid here, and I think there's a lot of us have done that kind of like little kid work, but there's so many different versions of us as kids, as children, and that there's right now there's kind of this I feel like it's coming through, feels a little bit more for the rose quartz people than you as I'm saying it. My phone's dying. But there's something about, you know, like for the rose quartz people, I'll get it out. It was about how would your like 13-year-old self think of you? Would they think they were pretty cool? Because I think my 13-year-old self would think I was pretty cool. This is feeling too like whatever this decision is that you're trying to make, which is funny because the tiger's eye is about decision making. Whatever decision this is you're trying to make, there's something about tapping into inner child. And so for you, for the Malachite group, it really feels like it might be whatever age is specific for you in the situation. For some people, it could be, who did you want to be when you were 6? Who did you want to be when you were 8, 10, 13, 15, even 18? How can you cross-section these two things, this decision that you're trying to make and what you wanted as a kid? Like, think of the most significant moment in your life where you were like, yes, this is the thing that I want to do. What was that? And what choice is the closest to that thing? Okay? Last but not least, the 10 of Cups. Beautiful. Beautiful. Because this is leading you to this beautiful happy ending. The 10 of Cups is the happily ever after. It is the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. It is the golden ticket of life. But it's also to show you that it's possible, to show everyone that it's possible to get what you want. The key is knowing what you want. Okay? And I feel like that's really what's going on for you right now. I have to make a decision. I know I want something, but what do I want? Get back to basics. What did that person inside of you want? You know what I mean? Like, my most significant thoughts or most significant dreams even as a kid was when I was like 12, 13, 14, secretly reading books about being pagan and a witch and tapping into that and being afraid of being judged, that I was going to look like some loser dork, there were a lot of things that I liked that I didn't tell people about. And now that's the stuff that like makes me me. And people are like, oh, that's really cool that you're into that you do that. You know what I mean? So, like I said, like my 12, 13-year-old self would be really, really impressed that we're actually, identifying publicly as a witch and also professional tarot reader, psychic medium, intuitive, doing this with you. Like, that's pretty freaking cool. So who was that for you? What was that for you? And how can that help you figure this thing out? It's like, especially with it being this Malachite energy, it's like there's a lot of change and transformation, I think, happening for everybody right now. So it makes sense that would be kind of the main theme. And with Mercury retrograde in Taurus, during Taurus season, it's asking us to kind of go back to your, almost like your id. I heard like your child self before you were, before you were tainted by society, you know what I mean? Before, or even that moment of you wanted this thing, you had this dream, and that moment that society told you that you couldn't do that. What was that thing you wanted to do? Because I feel like they're opening the door now for you to do that thing, to heal that part of yourself, to try to embrace that however you can. And it feels like some of you might be thinking like, oh, I need to quit my job, this, that, the other thing. If it's a really toxic environment, and you can go somewhere where you're getting paid just as much or more, cool for some people. But also this almost feels like it's like you might be trying to change the wrong thing. Like, you might be thinking that you need to change your job or your relationship or where you live or something like that. But actually what you need to do is make some space, some time for you to maybe reconnect with a new hobby, something that you've been wanting to try, recommitting to like an old hobby, an old passion project. Like, you know what I mean? Do you want to go take dance classes? However dance that is, belly dancing, swing dancing. I keep seeing like group dancing. Do you want to sing in a choir? Do you want to do uh, theater? Do you want to do? Have you been wanting to go LARPing? Live action role play. Is that something you want to do? These are all like things that I keep seeing that there's something that you are keeping from yourself, and it's actually keeping you from your like inner child, and it's keeping you from being able to move forward. And it might seem counterintuitive, counterproductive, that like, well, it's not going to bring me money, it's not this, you know what I mean, like those logical things that we say, well, what's the reason I'm doing it? The reason you're doing it is to enjoy it, to reconnect with life, with why you decided to be here. It's to play. The reason is to play life, to play as your human self, to experience, okay? It's like you're trying to find this tangible reason to do this thing that you want to do. Like, I feel like your guides are whispering in your ear, like, you want to do this thing. Remember that thing you really want to try? Remember that thing you miss doing? Go do that, okay? Because that's the key. That's the key. It's like you're looking for this like mental or physical reason, like this logical reason, or this like physical material reason, like if you do this thing, it's gonna produce this. This is not. These wands and cups are passion and emotion. There's nothing like logical or material about this. It is purely for your enjoyment, for your inner fire, for your emotions, for that deep healing, okay? Okay. Next, see what's coming up with our... okay. Lots of kings for everybody coming up. We have the King of Cups and the King of Swords. Very interesting. Which is funny, I was talking about this, I was seeing that your mindset is in the swords or in the pentacles. Swords are your mindset, pentacles are material, are physical. So, and I like actually that the kings are coming up as the King of Cups and the King of Swords, because this is very much about like marrying, allowing your head and your heart to work together. This is about, getting to this emotional place, this contentment, this happiness, in order for it's a ripple effect. It's this emotional and mental evolvement where you could even be needing to do some mental habits for yourself also. Like, do you want to learn a language? Are you trying to get more into your meditation? The King and Queen of Swords are meditation masters. You know what I mean? And the King and Queen of Cups are empathetic psychics, as psychic mediums. So, and they're very intuitive. Both of these are very intuitive energies, actually, because you have to have, I don't believe in the ego death, because the ego is connected to the mind. We need our ego as humans, but we also need our soul. We need these things to be working together, not fighting each other. That's why it's like you need to be going out and doing things that are going to feed your soul and your heart so that you're feeling more mentally clear. Okay? The mental clarity, it's like I just feel like you keep feeling like you're just like hitting your head against the wall, where it's like, but I'm doing all the things that they say I should be doing, and I'm not happy. And it's like, well, is this the definition of, lunacy, and that you're doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result? It's like, it's time to do something different. It's time to go have some fun. It's time to get connected with like a different community, because these aren't just things that you go do one time. These are things that you go do pretty regularly, semi-regularly, even if it's just like trying to schedule regular walks with a friend. There's something that needs to be implemented into your life that has no clear outcome, that is purely for the enjoyment. I can't say it enough. Obviously. I'm trying to think of other ways to say it. It's purely for like the enjoyment, for the presence of it, for the experience, for the love, for there's other ways, you know, this is to help infuse you with some well-rounded energy, because we can't just survive mentally and physically. We have to have our hearts and our souls and our passion. We need purpose, and sometimes our purpose has nothing to do with the money that we make. Okay. Sometimes, you know, that's why art exists. Although, you know, I'm glad we're coming into a world where we are supporting these things more financially, because it should, I think a lot of times these are the things that people are meant to do, and they should be able to survive on it. But if you're watching this, it feels like it not necessarily, that shouldn't be your focus right now of doing this thing, okay? And it's going to have this ripple effect over time that it's just going to feel so easy. That's what it is. It's like you're banging your head against the wall and they're like, you're making it too difficult on yourself. It could be so much easier. You could be going out and doing something really fun for your soul and your heart once a week, and it's going to have this ripple effect that makes other things feel easy or feel enjoyable. You're not going to like hate your job as much anymore. You're not going to be stressed out by life as much anymore. You're going to have something to look forward to. You're going to feel like you have a purpose. You're going to feel like you have a place to belong. Okay? You're making it too hard on yourself. Stop it. All right, let's see what these oracle cards have to say. Ooh, limitless possibilities. Hello. Stars in the sky. Love that. There's your little divine self sitting there. Oh, for some reason I thought there was a moon in the sky. There's not. But they're definitely connected with their little mudras. And then, ooh, balancing act. Hi, this is going to be a good one too, because this is about how do you work this in? How do you, like, easier said than done, you know what I mean? But there's a way there. If it's important, find something that it's that important to you to fit it in. That important to you that you can talk to your family, talk to your significant others, that this is something important to you that you need to be going and doing. See if maybe it's something they can do with you. Okay? But yeah, it's going to take a little bit of balancing, integrating something new, you know? It's like when you're learning to juggle, you get your 2 balls down, and now we're throwing you a 3rd ball. It can be overwhelming, but once you get it going, it's like doesn't even matter that they put that 3rd ball in there, okay? So there's an adjustment period. And that's okay. Okay, dances on 1 foot, and I love this one because it has this little like dancer, but they're like have these, it's like a little dancer fairy, and they have like really cool moth wings. So that's cool. Okay, so before I read these, I have to go get my phone charger because I'm afraid my phone's gonna die. And my partner's texting me. So I'll be right back. We're gonna get through this. I'm gonna get through this. I'm gonna make it through. Shout out if you know that song. 90s kids. I think that came out in the early 2000s, but kind of have to be a 90s kid to know it. Okay. 51. Stars in the sky. I ran. Limitless possibilities, embracing opportunity. Hello! When you look up into the velvety dark blanket of the night sky, covering the vast expanse of space, can you count all the stars twinkling above? Can you imagine that you are only glimpsing a tiny sliver of what is actually there? That is the domain of limitless possibility, of the never-ending sea of potential that you yourself are made of and have now at your disposal. Your life right now is alive with possibility and needs your clear focus to home in on what avenue of exploration most calls to you. I said it before, and I'll say it again. I love when the Oracle cards validate the messages I bring you. It just... It validates the messages for you, and it validates it for me, and I hope that I'm never not surprised by it, and because I think it keeps me grounded while I do this work. So, your life right now is alive with possibility. Oh, I said that. I'm gonna read it again. Your life right now is alive with possibility and needs your clear focus to home in on what avenue of exploration most calls to you. That's why I got that vision that you're just like, where do I go? I'm telling you. It's time to choose and not be distracted by the sheer magnitude of what may be. Be here now. Gather your thoughts and your most cherished dreams. Focus on the brightest star in your never-ending sky and take small steps, small movements towards calling this glittering potential into reality. If you can imagine this and hold that vision, you will summon all the celestial helpers and guides to aid you in bringing it into fruition. Keep your focus on the essence of potential rather than the form of it. The universe has its own ideas of how best to serve you and all of us at the same time. Trust this as a fact rather than theory, and you ought not act surprised when your dreams come true, for they surely will exactly how you need them to. See, that's why they're like, you're trying too hard. You're already doing all this other great work, and there's like this one little piece missing, and it's like they're trying to just get it to fall in line for you. Okay, let's see what our Dances on One Foot has to say. Please excuse my very old cat that likes to yell. She's also part Bengal, so they're very talkative. She's no qualms about telling us what she needs. Dances on one foot, balancing act, resourcefulness, saying yes to life. That seems to be a theme also through all of this. Saying yes to life. The Rose Quartz bio had it too. Say yes. Don't say no to life for whatever logical reason. You know what I mean? If there's something that you really want to do that you will regret not doing it, you and the universe will make it happen if it's meant to happen. Okay? When Dances on One Foot shows up, you are called to find a new balance. Just as a dancer moves gracefully into each pose, no matter how precariously balanced a step might seem, you must bring equanimity to the situation before you, no matter how thorny or difficult a relationship seems. If you're putting too much effort into managing your life, work, relationship, family, and digital media, you are missing the point. You have to be dancing while juggling your entire life. Now, knowing that at any one time, half of it is going to be up in the air. That's funny that I got that juggling image earlier too, because I didn't remember that about this card. It's not that you are doing too much or find it impossible to catch up. Rather, it's that you are confusing readiness with preparation. You will never, ever be fully prepared for all the challenges in life. But you can be ready to say yes to a new invitation that the universe offers you. Live in a state of yes to spirit and no to everything not infused with life, romance, vitality, and the sacred. you will be surprised by how quickly your load lightens when you hold true to this lesson. That's what I was saying. You will be surprised how quickly the ripple effect will happen for you when you stop. What is it when you stop? Oh my god, I just thought of like the original Real World. When you stop, and get real, the real world. When you start being nice and get real. It is, maybe it is like being too, like, no, it's fine, it's okay, I'll just this and that. Like, no. That's not what life is about. You're here to live your life. That was like me yelling at Rose Quartz pile, like, say yes to experience, say yes to life. And then here's me happily sitting in my home all the time. But I said yes to life for a long time. So I'm in this place where, yes, there are some things I had to go do, and I fully enjoy them. It is about quality, not quantity. So these are little pushes. They're trying to get you to, it's time. We went through a huge transformation collectively too, during the pandemic and everything surrounding that. Things are still transitioning. So we have to be selfish to be selfless. Okay? There's a lot of stuff come out about this now, is that you cannot fully give yourself if you have not fully given to yourself. And we need to be complete and be able to take care of ourselves so that we can be in community with each other and help each other. Okay, I hope I'm explaining the connection. I don't want to just be like, oh, we're all one. We are all connected. That is part of it. But the thing about being in this realm, being on Earth, is finding that balance, the balancing act between being an individual as part of a collective at the same time. We need people to be individuals. As we do, we need them to be aware that they are a part of the community. Okay? Lost my place. Rants. Yeah, you will be surprised by how quickly your load lightens. You'll be surprised by the ripple effect if you make these changes. You are challenged now to work with the resources available to you and not be seduced by the belief, if I only had more. Life has provided you with everything you need to accomplish your goals and fulfill your mission. When it feels like you are losing your balance, do not contract, holding your arms close to your chest, or you will fall. Instead, reach out and extend them fully, saying yes to Spirit's steadying hand. And that's what I see. Like, Rose Quartz Pile, they need to be kind of in the crystals right now. There's something about you you've been in it for so long that it's time, like, if you don't, like, stretch out soon, things are going to atrophy and you're going to be stuck in this very contracted space. And it's, like, time to, like, be free and move, okay? Move the energy. Get out there. Flow with others. Get in other people's auras. Our energy goes out about 3 to 6 feet from us, okay? I thought it was so funny that we were supposed to be 6 feet apart, because I was like, yeah! Now no one's going to be in my aura out in public and I don't have to, like, pick up other people's energy, because it's always been an issue for me. Like, when people stand too close, I'm like, ugh, I can feel your crappy energy. Get it away from me. Have you ever been, like, repelled by I've literally been repelled by people's energy. And it's weird. It's when they look totally fine and I'm like, whoa. Bleh, get me away from that sort of thing. So we did that. We had to do that for a long time for so many reasons. But you need to, it's time to mingle, and it's time to mingle with like-minded people, okay? It's not just about, like, going to the grocery store to get out of the house. this is reminding you that you're not alone also. Okay? It's reminding you that there are like-minded people out there that are doing the same things as you. And that connection reminds you why you're alive, truly. Reminds you why you chose to do this, all right? I am so thankful. They want me to share with you. I try not to share too much about myself, but I've had a lot of experiences. I like to use my experiences as examples. If you've been following me, I'm doing local Colorado markets, mostly Denver, and one in particular, the Magic Makers Market. Even if it's a slow market, even if I don't make a lot of sales, I always make a connection, and I now get making friends within this community, and the peace, the and the energy like that I get infused with being in a group of like-minded individuals, of queer magical folks that are doing the same things as I am, and trying to be their authentic selves and support themselves and support the world with their gifts. Like, it is, I can't even tell you how the healing, the energy that I've gotten from it is beyond anything I could have imagined. It's worth the investment of the money just so that I can have the spiritual and emotional fulfillment of being part of this community and meeting new people and getting to read people and getting to share my gifts and having other people share their gifts with me. Okay, that's what it's about. All right. So go find your people. The time is now. And I'm so excited for you. So please, if this resonated with you, please do share. Please let me know what's coming up for you. What's the thing that you're going to go get involved with? I don't know why, but LARPing keeps coming up in my head. Have you ever seen the movie Role Models? If you like to LARP and you've never seen Role Models, or if you're curious about LARPing, watch Role Models. Is a classic, totally underrated film. And they're LARPing, but then they're the Kiss Army. It's great. So I know I got my nerds out there. I love you guys. So if you're gonna go LARP, let me know. It looks really fun. Okay. Hey, have you been to the Renaissance Festival in a while? You know, I know I saw in California it's starting. In Colorado, it starts about like June, August, and I think it's like in the South, like the Texas one's big. I think they usually do theirs in like September later so it's not so hot. But man, I can't, from the time I went I've been going to the Renaissance Festival since I was a kid. We didn't go every year, but I've been enough to remember that when we went younger, it was fun, and it's always really fun. It was busy. You know, it's always a good amount of people there. But folks, I cannot tell you how big it has gotten. I know there's a lot of people come to Colorado, but we used to be look kind of weird because we loved me and a lot of friends that I've gone with, a lot of friends I have had. Anytime we've gone, a lot of the time, not every time, but a lot of time, we will dress up. As we're into Comic-Con, these if you notice, like, immersion experiences have really blown up. Meow Wolf is now in 3 states, and they're working on a 4th. They're in Colorado, New Mexico, Nevada, and Las Vegas, and now they're opening up in Texas. These are becoming so popular because we need them so badly, because we are desperate to reconnect with our imagination. We are desperate to reconnect with ourselves and each other and play and have fun. Like, I am so impressed when I go to the Renaissance Festival now, how many people are dressed up. And trust, there's it's not like everyone's dressed like it's, you know, the historical Renaissance. I get that. Okay, back again. I always have lots of technical difficulties during Mercury retrograde anytime I do these. So I feel like I'm playing Mercury retrograde bingo over here. I just ran out of storage on my very big phone with all the storage, so I had to go delete some old videos. So sorry. Okay, so I was talking about the Renaissance Fair, that now people just dress up, you know, how they want to. Sometimes people wear funny costumes. Sometimes they're dressed up like video game characters from a video game that I thought I could think of right now and I can't. We've even seen like Monty Python characters. So, and I love it. I love that more people are willing to let their inhibitions go and have some like wholesome fun. Like, it's like there's a little bit of drinking there, but nobody ever gets crazy. Even when there's a lot of people, like, everyone's usually nice. Like, I've never really had an issue there, you know what I mean? So I appreciate that. I appreciate that we're getting more into this mindset of play, of like, let's just go and forget our worries for a little while. It's so much more beneficial than we give it credit for. Okay, so go do your things. Go immerse yourself in something that you will love and enjoy. Okay. Oh, it also makes me think of, okay, so talk about Meow Wolf. If you're in a town, that city that has Meow Wolf, a great thing. And then if you're somewhere where they're doing the Theater of the Mind, it's from David Byrne, who is the lead singer of Talking Heads. It is a immersive theater experience, and it talks all about who we are and how we change and how our mind can also play tricks on us. And it's really interesting, and it's really cool. And it was something that I don't know if I would have gone if somebody hadn't bought me tickets, but I'm so thankful that I did. So I'm back again. This time I really had to delete a lot of stuff. I don't know, all of a sudden it's just like, and now you have no memory. Sorry. So Mercury retrograde, we're just gonna breathe and we're gonna keep on keeping on. So thank you so much to my Malachite group. I will see you for Gemini season. We'll do this again for Gemini season. Please be sure to like if you like this, subscribe, go check me out on other social medias. I'm at Meryl's Mystic on everything. You'll see that there's some platforms I just stopped posting on, but mostly on Instagram, and you can also join my email list. That way the algorithms don't hide me. All that is attached below. Thank you again, and good luck. Again, let me know what fun you have in store. Okay, last, certainly not least, our Tiger's Eye heart, which is funny because I said at the beginning of this that the Tiger's Eye can help you make decisions, but if there is a decision you're trying to make, I would suggest checking out the Malachite pile. And the Malachite pile's good with transformation and change. And if that's what you were looking for, you might want to go check out the Rose Quartz pile. This has been the reading of interruption, so hopefully we can get through this pile without an interruption. Thank you so much for being here. Let's take a deep breath together. As we arrive, and let's see what this Tiger's Eye pile has in store for us. We will start with the first deck, the Modern Witch Tarot, and we have the High Priestess in reverse. The High Priestess is all about your intuition and your magic. It is this card after the Magician. So it's when you've already gathered all your tools and you are emboldened in your power and in your intuition. The High Priestess sits on a throne, and behind her is a veil. The veil is covering the door to the other side, to the other realm, to the spirit world. And so the High Priestess knows that the other realm, the spirit world, is right there. It's very accessible, and she does not take it lightly that she's pretty much the guardian of this gateway, of this passage. And with her in reverse, it feels like you might still be gathering your tools, or you have your tools and you haven't realized that you have all your tools, and now it's time to like empower yourself within your intuition. And also a lot of the times she comes up in reverse when you're not trusting your intuition, you're not listening. It's kind of like, hello, your intuition is trying to talk to you, your spirit guides are trying to show you signs, and you're like, I can't see anything. It's like, well, it's not up here. You have to be open, here. It's like, I don't see the signs. I don't see them. It's like, well, if you looked up and around, you would see them, okay? With that comes, the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. The Seven of Pentacles is all about patience and trust. That is a big theme for our year this year, because numerologically we are in a 7-year, and the big themes are patience and trust. You have already planted so many seeds, invested in so many things, and now it's time to allow these things to grow. And it takes time. We cannot force nature to happen. We cannot force things to grow. If we want them to grow beautiful and abundant and healthy, we have to give it the proper care it needs. You can't water it too much. You can't, you have to give it just a right amount. If you give too little or you give too much, you could smother it. It could die before it even had time to really bloom. So this is definitely about, there's a level of patience here and trusting that things are happening when they are supposed to. So maybe you're also a intuitive, magical person, and you're like been working on it, and you're kind of feel like, well, when am I going to feel this way that I've been working on? When is it all going to work out? It will eventually. This might be my pile too, because I've invested a lot in myself and my business, and I'm still kind of waiting for the quote unquote success, but I'm still going because I trust this path. I love this path, and I have to trust that the universe has my back, my guides have my back, and have the patience that things are going to work out when they're supposed to. So the killer of peace and patience and joy is comparison. And so I'm really hearing that this is not the time to compare yourself to others. This is not the time to compare your journey, compare your path, compare where you are in life to anybody else. Your journey, your path is your path. It is no one else's path. And this last third card, here is our change. Here is our possible answer. We got all the reversals for you guys, but death comes as a necessary change. So what this tells me too, when we're in this space working towards this thing, especially if you're like, when's it gonna happen, it's validating that you can't get there sooner than you're meant to. Okay, you can't get to the change, the transformation sooner than you're ready. Giving you an example of how I've seen this show up personally, back to the waiting for the success of my business. Well, Looking back now, I could not have had my business be more successful than it was when I thought it was supposed to be. Because I really started this journey 2016 through 2018, and then by the time I got to 2020, I was like, okay, I've been working on this for a while. Like, where's the success? Where's what's supposed to happen? Well, at the end of 2020, my father was killed in an accident, extremely unexpected, and I had to deal with that. And then about a year and a half later, I had to completely back away because I hadn't healed my grief the way I should have. And so if my business had been bigger than it was, and then this tragedy happened, there would have been, I would have let down more people. I would have, you know what I mean? Like there's a reason why I didn't get this far, was because what was meant to happen, although tragic, set me back a little, in a sense. It's opened up other things for me also, but I couldn't have handled the success while I was also grieving the sudden loss of my dad, you know? And so it was actually a blessing that I didn't get as successful, busy as I wanted to, because then it would have been an even bigger walk away from. It would have been even harder for me to take the break that was necessary for me to take. And also it required me to grow in ways that I hadn't grown yet. And so it does just feel like there are other things that are supposed to be happening for you before you reach this point, this finally, like, it's like the finally feeling like things are happening. Like, oh, here's the shift, you know, and there's a lot of shifts coming for us this year. And there's a lot of alignment coming for you, for everybody this year. But you can't compare when that happens. You know, this is all about kind of timing and how time doesn't work. Though, you know, it's a construct. It doesn't work the way that in the spirit world that it does in the earthly realm. So you can't make it go faster. You can't make it go slower. That's why we have to like find this flow. Okay. So let's kind of see in the second deck with the Smith Waite what we're looking for in this time, other than trusting that you have all the tools, trusting that you are doing the work that you should be doing, trusting your intuition and your guides and the signs, patience, trusting the patience, allowing things to grow naturally, allowing things to develop naturally, and nurturing that. You know, sometimes the plant analogy isn't always the best. I like to also use a fire analogy. Like, you build this fire, this thing that you're doing, and you finally like get it going. Yeah, but the fire will eventually go out if you're not feeding it. If you're not getting it enough oxygen, turning logs, putting more logs on. You have to, you know, just like you're feeding the plants, but there's a natural order to the way that these things go. And in the spirit world, it's hard to know what that order is. It's hard to see if that order makes sense until like we're down the road. Sometimes it won't even make sense until we're in the spirit world. There's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes that we don't see, that they're trying to get other things to line up. Like, for you to get to a certain point in life, it's not just you getting there. It's all these other factors around you that have to line up in order for everything to converge into that moment. Okay? So next we have the Two of Cups reversed. Reversals, y'all, and the Nine of Wands reversed. Okay, so again, patience. This is very much like a lot of internal work happening. With the Two of Cups coming up in reverse, it's not even time for you to to make new connections. It's not time for you to get out there very much. You have to be very particular about the steps that you take right now. This is about maintaining and nurturing. It is not about growing. Does that make sense? There's a natural growth already going on, and so you don't need to take any steps to grow. It's not like, okay, what's another project we're gonna do? What's another thing we're gonna start? What's another thing we're gonna add in right now? This is about making sure that you are in a good, solid place, okay? And making sure that you are finding the flow truly, like you're in your day to day, making sure that you're not scattered, that you're being very conscious about your movement. Because once this big change, this death comes into your path, you will be prepared for it. You will be able to embrace it and not brace up against it. The Nine of Wands really comes to tell you that things are moving forward and you're getting near the end of, I don't want to say struggle. It can feel like a struggle sometimes, but you're really getting near kind of the end of this part of this journey, of all this work that you're doing and that you're investing in. Okay, it's looking at what you're already doing, or looking at what you've already invested in or committed to, or signed up for, and have you finished those things yet? Have you completed those things that, have you put these systems in place to help support you? Have you completed these things that you wanted to do for yourself and you may not have gotten to it for one reason or another? Okay, it's actually, I'm looking at my big whiteboard behind the camera for my business. And once when I'm just sitting there thinking about it all, it's like, oh, I'm not doing enough. What's the next thing I need to do? Well, with it all written, I finally got to write down what I'm doing right now. And it looks like enough right now. There's one thing on the board that is to start. And there's one thing on the board that is a project that had to be backburned. And then there's a few things that I've had committed to and I need to return to and actually finish. I have my why. I have, the who I am, the umbrella pitch, the inspirational quote. So it's simplify where you are. Stop adding things. Make sure you're filling your cup also. You are the plant. You know what I mean? You've been planted. You're blooming when you need to, but it takes time. You gotta get the strong roots. You have to get the sunlight and you get the water, and you have to, first grow a stalk and some leaves, and then the flowers come. There's a natural order to this in this plane of existence. So trust that. I do see the light at the end of the tunnel. You know what I mean? Like, these energies, these ending energies, are the light at the end of the tunnel. That your work will pay off. It will be rewarded. You will get the fruits of your labor. But right now you're tending to the crops. You're just tending to things, okay? This is actually, I'm surprised that this has kind of been like one of the quicker readings looking at the timing. So the other ones were a lot. For some reason, you just need to hear very straightforward, like you're doing good where you're at. The things you've invested in were right. Now it's just kind of time to, like, it's like the hen sitting on the egg sort of thing. She's got to sit on the egg to allow it to hatch, to give it the time to gestate, to form before it can hatch. You know what I mean? Otherwise, we're just making scrambled eggs. Okay? And that's not what we're working towards. So, the shaman oracle dream oracle shaman's dream oracle. I got it. We have 3 cards for you. Oh, this is a card I haven't seen before. Oh, the other 2 are skywriting, the fates. The fates. Ooh, I'm excited to see what this one says. The fates. Fate reminds me of not Clebjorn Reed. That's this deck. Deborah Silverman. She's an astrologist and a psychotherapist. She has a little song, "Falling in love with your fate, falling in love with my fate, falling in love with my fate." And so that's kind of where you are right now. That's what the song, the card made me think of, was that sometimes your fate, where you're meant to be, doesn't always feel like you're meant to be there, but you are, and it's about the trusting to be there. And I actually just noticed too that these 2 cards, which I don't see this happen a lot, they're little the backgrounds where they're standing and the backgrounds line up perfectly. Isn't that interesting? And they're from 2 different elements. Although the cups and the wands keep coming up a lot because it's the heart and the soul and and your passion, your purpose in life. So there's like, it feels like there's definitely a journey, a pipeline here of investing in yourself, continuing that investment, trusting that it's going to pay off. Okay. So falling in love with our fate. Next is the farther gate, bold step forward. When the time is right, bold step forward. And the last one, hollow bone, teachability. I can't quite remember. We're going to read about this for sure. This is about also the flow and your fate. So let's dive in. Skywriting, the fates, that which we cannot change, non-judgment. It is written in the sky that you have a destiny. You are being invited to explore certain aspects of life unique to you and you alone. I was having trouble really I grasp the concept, but it's like to verbalize it also. So I love when these validate what I said and also really wrap up what I said. It's like a nice little cherry on top. That does not mean that your path will be easy, paved with gold and littered with diamonds. Nor does this predict that your journey will be treacherous. It is just your path. Your path is your path. That's what I said. With parts that cannot be changed and must be radically accepted as they are. In this way, whatever you are faced with, every single aspect of your life is perfect in its imperfection, being where you are now. That's the other, I feel very scattered. I think that's why I'm having a hard time gathering and verbalizing. You feel very scattered. It's time to kind of like bring it in. All right. And be present. Be more present. It feels like you're thinking of the past. The past is where it can be the source of depression. Thinking too much in the future is the source of anxiety. You can't change the past and you cannot predict the future. Okay? You can only be where you are now. Make your choices now, and then you will know where you are when you get there. In this way, whatever you are faced with, every single aspect of your life is perfect in its imperfection. Not good or bad, neither in flow nor blocked. This nor that. See your life as a series of opportunities rather than an obstacle course. Once you master the skill of non-judgment, you open to the power of curiosity, unencumbered by the burdens of yesterday's fear, as you look ahead into the potential of the future. Yes, you still need to be brave. Right now you are facing a critical moment in time with an opportunity to meet your fate. a choice point where you expand your influence and your capacity for abundance, love, and purposeful action. Now is the moment to leap into it. Whether it be a heart connection, a call to creativity, or a new identity in your work or another area of life, with all your heart and soul. With all your heart and soul. Your success is surely written in the stars. In order to bring your destiny into fruition, you must jump into the adventure with both feet and do your part. So it's about, and this is also about the co-creation, the trusting that things are happening for you and that you can only do so much. But if you trust and embrace and go with the flow, it works out so much better. This, your success is surely written in the stars. I just listened to this podcast called Skyline Drive about a young Indian man who grew up with astrology but doesn't believe in it. It's really good. And I didn't know this, but so Western astrology is kind of like a fixed point in time, and Vedic astrology, Eastern astrology, follows how the planets continue to move. So in Western astrology, I'm a Scorpio, but in Vedic astrology, I'm a Libra. It can get confusing. But in India, there are certain astrologers that have been come from generations of astrologers. The business passed down. And there are these ancient scrolls where everybody ever born, supposedly, and you have to find the right ones, because there's ones out there that are not legit. And he's, his family's from there, and he even had a hard time finding the right ones. But supposedly everyone's fate is written down on these scrolls from thousands of years ago. Okay, so there's something to this. There's something about, and I truly believe that it's a combination of our choices and what the universe and our souls have planned for us. So I feel like it's empowering, but then also you kind of give it up to God at the same time. It's a nice balance. So let's see. The next is the bold step forward. When the time is right. That's what I feel like you're in waiting. You're not stalled. You're lying in wait, and that's okay. And there's things that you can tend to while you're waiting. The next experience, the farther gate. Legacy, evolving, bold step forward. When the farther gate card shows up, it is a clear call to lift your eyes to the horizon and begin to walk toward your future. You are marching in place right now, stirring the dust but not getting anywhere. Trust that your forward movement will lead you to a new destination you've already set for yourself, perhaps forgotten or neglected because of your everyday busyness. The farther gate comes to tell you that an ending is at hand and that you can leave the old behind. Let it peel away like an old skin you shed. Do not hesitate. Cross the threshold boldly and you will be rewarded. If you continue making time instead of moving, you will miss the opportunity. The gate is open. This really feels like it's in the near future for you. Like it's like I can see in the tarot, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. This is once you reach the light at the end of the tunnel. That's why they're preparing you now, so that when it comes to you, then you're like, oh, there it is. That's it. Take the step, leap. The gate is open. The next landscape of your life is within reach, but the window of time to pass through it grows shorter. Do not dally. You're getting there. A gift of the farther gate is to bring you to the fullest expression of your gifts, perhaps for the first time, which is this high priestess embodying that. It is an invitation to a sacred passage, to new discovery and great challenges and opportunities. It is not a graduation. There are no rewards other than the exploration itself. You have been a farmer far too long. I love that because we're totally talking about like tending to your crops right now. So they're moving. So it's like it's just right now, man. Like we see what you're doing, and the reward, the payoff, the reward, the success is coming. You have been a farmer for far too long, tilling the hard soil that now bears little fruit for you. Time to put on the explorer hat once again. You're not done yet. You're still farming this land a little bit, and then but you're not going to be there forever. The next adventure is around the corner. Okay. And finally, 28, hollow bone, teachability. Teachability, humility, being empty so that the wind of spirit can breathe through you. So this is also where the flow is. The hollowing bone of an eagle is a flute for the shamans. The appearance of the hollow bone invites you to become empty of your notions of who you are, to check your ego at the door, and to know that this is not about you. Relinquish your need to be right and to express an opinion, as this will not change anything right now. You are being called to practice humility. This is definitely like now. Hollow yourself out and hear the wind blow through you and play you like a flute. You will learn the language of the squall and the storm and understand the message in the summer breeze. There's an important communication waiting for you. Humility is the swiftest path for you to become like hollow bone. Drop all notions and titles that bolster your ego. Eliminate the doer and allow things to happen of their own accord. Remember that you can accomplish most anything if you're willing to let someone else take credit for it. So funny. I feel like this one should be like either here or here. You know what I mean? Like I feel like because they got mixed up. So I'm like, maybe it's like, because this definitely feels like the result here. Humility is the swiftest path for you to become like hollow bone. Drop all notions and titles that bolster your ego, eliminate the doer, and allow things to happen of their own accord. That's that natural, letting things naturally happen. Remember that you can accomplish most anything if you're willing to let someone else take credit for it. Hollow bone has come to caution you to believe only 50% of what others think, and only 10% of what you think. We have a lot of thoughts, and we do not need to grasp onto all of them. Trust your experience, not what you have read in sacred books or holy texts. This will allow you to turn apparent danger into opportunity. Remember that you are an insignificant grain of sand in the grand scheme of life, and as important as the brightest sun. And that's even returning to this need for us to be individuals and part of the collective at the same time. And also you may be, because you've been working so much on your work, you may have been studying and collecting tools for so long that now you're not really using them. So it's a good time to like return to actually using those tools, making sure that you're integrating at least one into every day, a meditation, a body movement, an EFT tapping, pulling a card, journaling, any of these little modalities that you've picked up over the years and in your studies that help infuse this information and these studies and your skills and your tools and your magic within you. This is a good time to return to those. That is going to help nourish, is going to help churn things up in a good way. It's like, I just like saw like soil churning, just like the further gate, like once the farming's done, there will be a new step, but we're still kind of farming right now. Okay. I think that's it. Take care of yourself. Take extra good care of yourself right now. Slow and steady wins the race. All right. With ease. And because you're right where you're supposed to be, truly. Thank you so much for being here. Please be sure to like and subscribe. Let me know what resonated with you. Let me know what's coming up for you. Check me out on social media at Meryl's Mystic. Join my email list so that I don't get lost in your algorithm. And I will see you for Gemini season. Thanks. Bye.